Alright, you guys, what's going on? I'm gonna go over today on a trading recap with what I got with NVDA on the reason why I entered calls, and also why I took calls on AMD and NVDA, which is both they mostly move the same, and which is super simple. I thought honestly a lot of people were bearish on the market, but I saw that it was in a clear area of demand, so that's the only reason why I got into calls, and also because of the way SPY actually held up the market a little bit, not too much. You know, SPY and QQ were kind of holding it, not too much of aggressive. But since I saw my entry on NVIDIA and AMD also, since they moved together, then I actually got in. So I'm gonna show you guys how I saw the demand area. So first thing I use is the volume profile, right? I want to see the areas where it's bouncing off or any kind of buyers coming in. So first thing I do is I check the daily. Daily, I noticed that here this is an area of volume, so I know this is an area of demand there. Just by, if you guys don't know how to use the volume profile, you could check out some videos on YouTube. If not, take one of my courses and I'll show you how to use it. But I do use volume profile a lot, and volume profile actually is showing me how there's an area of demand here, right? So there's demand there, and also how there's a lot of sellers around this area at that 136.27 place. So as soon as I stood there, I did that on my daily. I went back to the 4 hour, which is I mostly use the 4 hour to see what's going on with the trend. And on the 4 hour, I noticed that it's dropping, and I ended up putting this out on the Discord. Actually, on it wasn't even on Discord, it was on Instagram that I dropped this down, right? So the reason why I had it like this was because of the way it's on demand, and you can see that right on the demand area, it kept holding, right? It's holding up. So now right here is an area that it's holding, also with empty volume here. So that's my two entries. Another one will be there, my other target. I'm trading on the longer term all the way to the top side. So these I will have a different color, which I will either have them as my big levels or monthly blue. I have a monthly blue because I'm lazy and I haven't labeled it, but it's just what I find in the 4 hour. And I'll start going to the 1 hour. You can see that the market actually moved up, right? Pre-market, this is the pre-market on September 29th to 30th. Today's the 30th, Friday. And also I could see that my levels for this day was right around here. My entry, if it goes above, we could hit all the way back to 125, 26, break above this area, we go to 130 and 129, keep going more aggressive. But you could see how it's ranging around this range, right? Above the 126 and 121 area. So I started checking on the 5 minute, and I noticed on NVIDIA that as soon as it opened up, I could straight out tell that this is holding. So I put on my indicators, and I'm noticing that it's below my EMA. It's right above my EMA, and you can see how it starts moving up, right? It bounced off of this area yesterday on Thursday, bounced off on after hours, ended up staying around this range above that blue line, and it rejected and came back down. So for me, it's like, why am I gonna take any puts if there's a huge demand level here, right? There's a lot of buyers coming in around this section. So I did have a level at 119.48 for go to puts, maybe all the way back to 110.33, but I didn't want to go the other way around. You know, I like to how they were holding here since yesterday, and that was actually a couple of days already too. Look, for so many days it's been holding, right? September 26, 28, 29, and the 30th, which was today. So I was expecting, okay, you know what, we could probably come back up and retest at least that 126. I didn't know it was gonna go and retest. I just thought that buyers were gonna come in today, especially how futures were looking. So the first thing I did was I was looking at NVIDIA, and then I saw NVIDIA doing me a pattern here. I saw that it was throwing me a little hammer right off the demand. So as soon as I saw that the market opened, I checked and I got in, right? I got in lightly, really quick, and then I started calling it around this section when it was 6:35. I called this NVIDIA for, I think it was a 126 calls for next week. Yeah, for next week, and I ended up hitting close to the money. It was a $4 move on this NVIDIA play. Actually, even more, because I got in at 120 to 121. I got in early just to see how it held, and I see that it was holding really good. There was buyers coming in at that 122.48 level, and I decided to hold, right? So I held it. I followed it and it was above my EMA, so it was showing me bullish. Also, this indicator is showing me long. It's just a test. It showed me long, so it was going above it. And then when I saw a little bit when it was getting close to my rejection area, which is 126.56, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna trim some right here. So that was my first trim. I held from here, added more to my position, and then I ended up calling it on the Discord when I saw this bull flag forming. Right, usually the bull flag, you measure the size of the pull to the ending, and that's what you get as a estimated price target, right? 126.56. So there you go. We were going up to 126.56. I added more to my position when I called it out the Discord, which wasn't even that far, 123.34 to 126, right? It was still $3 move compared to this one, because right here I didn't go in aggressively. It was more around this range when I called it out. As soon as it hit that 21.26, I saw there were sellers coming in, so I got out around this area. I started trimming, and as soon as it said short, I was like, all right, you know what, let's just get out of the position or leave a runner, and it just decided to go back down, right? Super simple, not too crazy. So now AMD, let's go to AMD. It's the same thing. AMD went to the daily to see what's going on really quick. Let's see the daily, and then move this indicator so you won't get blinded. With this indicator outside, AMD also was holding this position, right? There's an area of demand right around there, right around here, because of the target. So 64.95 was an area, and we also had the other empty volume that we used to the volume profile. You can straight out see it. Let me see if I show you really quickly. Right there, there's two areas. So I was like, you know what, it's gonna probably bounce, right? So I went to the 4 hour. Same thing. Just the reason why I got in, honestly, was because of NVDA. Usually AMD and NVIDIA move together at the same time, right? So on AMD, I actually got in a little bit more late, not too crazy. I saw momentum coming in, and it was holding a pre-market, right? It was holding this area. This is the pre-market low from today. This was still pre-market, that's how I was holding. So when I saw, obviously, the volume, look at this volume, crazy amount of buying volume. I was like, you know what, let's go in lightly, but I decided to buy 100 contracts. I shouldn't have, but I got 100 contracts, and I also called it out when I saw that it was holding this area. I was like, it's gonna break out, there's no way. So from 64 to 65.97, which was a whole dollar move, we just trimmed it off. You know, we got out, it was really quick. It was a 0 DT expiration, and we got a quick 40% move here. 40-30%, not too crazy. Same thing if I had this signals, it tells me to go long and go short all the way here. So that's what I'm saying, it's just an example, not going too hard. Same thing with SPY. Let's go with SPY. On SPY, I ended up doing a short. I'm doing a swing, I'm holding a swing for SPY October 7th. 360 puts. I put 360 because just in case it was gonna bounce, but like, you know what, closer to the money, more expensive, more better. So we're still in the money right now. We're already in the money. I got the 360s and the 340s and the 350 puts for October 7th. So I ended up seeing that SPY was losing momentum right off the 4 hour, that it was just downtrending and rejecting my EMA. So that, yeah, you know, like I saw yesterday's volume, which is right around there at 360.87, and where there's more on the top side at 368.67. So I'm back to the 5 minute, and I was noticing like, okay, you know what, like it did bounce off at the open, but then it was rejecting pre-market high, right? You can straight out see the pre-market high here. So I'm like, you know what, let me just take a short entry as soon as it goes below the EMA, a nice position for a swing. So it just kept falling the whole way. As soon as it broke out of that 360.87, I was like, okay, we're done with SPY. SPY's gonna keep going. So we held that position. We did trim some. I trimmed some around here because I thought it was gonna hold and create a higher low. That's how you can see it, right? So I thought it was gonna just keep going up and then go slowly until it'll probably break out or reach all the way to a 687. So I do have trim levels every time I do call off stuff. And that's basically when I play. This is usually everything I use. I don't use anything else. This I've already started using it, but I do use a lot of the volume profile to see the areas of resistance and support. Besides that, I just follow whatever's going on. And you can see the bounce that was going to happen on SPY, but I did not like this. It was moving weird. I did see this flag coming in. Also, I was like, okay, you know what, it might actually break out to make some calls and probably hit all the way over there, but I didn't take them I was already in NVDA and AMD. I wanted to take it slow just to see how SPY reacted, and I saw that SPY did hit that resistance, and you could straight out tell around this area it was slowing down. This section was slowing down. It wasn't even trying to push up anymore to the upside. So I had this written down like this. I had like this. As soon as it broke out, I got in with the rejection. I got in actually before it. I called it out at 368.72. We dropped down, trimmed one here, just in case it reversed. Like I said, it could have made it a higher high, higher low, but it didn't. So then we just kept the last two runners all the way to the end of the day, which went up to 105%. And we trimmed one at the end of the day, which went from, I think it was at $100. We bought it at 102, and we're at 230, 220 something, almost 110%. So now we're just holding the runners, and let's see if we gap down on over the weekend. So far it does look dead already. It's below that 358 level, and it held it. So usually when it does hold that means sellers were in control. So as long as we don't go above that 361.09 on Monday, then we could still hold that position. Obviously it's not going to be the same amount of money we're going to get, but we could get out. But it does look like it's losing a little bit of momentum, but like I said, this is after hours, so it's all right. It's not really that crazy. If it does hit that 360, then we were off with like a $90, $80 profit. Right now it's at $130 for a contract. It's a good percentage. So we'll probably just take a 50%. So this will actually be my stop loss for that. All right, so we enter from there. So we have the whole thing right there. There's my entry. So we're there. So yeah, we're still green. No matter what, this is the area we could take off profits for those runners, and then we'll probably re-enter or add more to another contract. But that's super simple. So trading style, that's the way I use it. I try to keep it as simple as I can. I love the volume profile. It allows me to see supply and demand where I need to watch it, and I could see the volume. Basically, the volume profile, just to give a quick explanation of what it is, volume profile basically resembles the volume of the trades per price, not by time. This volume here is allowing you to know what the time is, right? So that's all it is. The volume profile is showing you the by price, how much volume there is by price, and if there's a pump or there's gonna be a dump. That's why when you see those empty gaps, that's where if bulls take over this section, right? If you can see here, this section, it pumps, and you can see it did pump. Bulls took over and it took a big green, but then there were sellers on this section. So you could just to show you real quick, let's see how quick you guys could get it. There you go. You see, you could straight out get that little block to see how there's a resistance coming in. Resistance is there. A whole lot of buyers and areas on that area. You see that? And also here, this is empty volume. That's where it ended up being rejected. See? And that's where the bounces were before. And this is using the 5-minute time frame, so this allows you to see the volume of price, not by time. That's why I like this, and it's really accurate. It's like using the tape or level 2, but it's just showing you the action that you see on your face. You know, you're not seeing time, so it's a little bit more different from times it sells. But I do love using volume profile. So if you guys don't know how to use it, you can watch some videos on YouTube. There's some right there. Some dude know how to explain it or not, but I just give you a brief explanation of how I use it. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the weekend, and yeah, see you guys Monday. I'll put another post. I'll try to do daily recaps on my trades, and good luck.